Big Player of the Month. How and when do you find out that you receive an award like that?
I mean, it's kind of funny. I didn't really know until I got to the gym, and we kind of have a team rule. If you receive any awards like that, you have to order sushi for the whole team for after practice. So we have a board that I just came in, and my name was on the board, and they told me why. So that was the first time I found out.
That's an expensive award. Do you want to win that award?
Yeah, I mean, it gets kind of expensive, but I mean, it's fun to share something like that with your teammates, so you get over it pretty quick.
When it was tweeted out, they used like a less than compelling photo of you. I think you tweeted about it. It wasn't your best look in that, was it?
Yeah, I think that was the LKL league, the Lithuanian league, the MVP of the week or something like that. And the photo was just terrible. So I mean, there was some people on Twitter were having some fun with it, but yeah, it was kind of funny to see the responses I got just by replying to it.
It's been a few years since you were at BYU. We ended up actually covering you as a freshman at Provo, so it's fun to kind of see how your career's progressed. But give us an update of kind of where you've been post BYU.
It's been a crazy ride. I went to the Clippers through preseason, and then I ended up on the Sixers. I was there for a year and a half. Got traded to Brooklyn. Was in Brooklyn up until around the playoff time, and then I went overseas for the first time and started off in France. It was just the 4 months left in that season, and then spent the next year in Italy, spent the year after that in Monaco, and then now here.
World traveler Brandon Davies with us on BYU Sports Nation, hooping it up in the EuroLeague. As a former 76er, Brandon, do you trust the process?
I mean, it's fun to see how well they're playing now. I mean, especially with the coach. He's a great coach, and I have a good relationship with him, and it's just fun to see things working out. And I was a part of that process, or whatever you want to call it. So it's like I said, it's cool to be a part of something that's doing so well now.
Another undrafted free agent from BYU who's made the league is one of your best friends, Kyle Collinsworth. What do you think of what Kyle's done with the Mavericks?
I think it's pretty awesome, especially, he was in the D League and, showed what he could do, and he did nothing but, impress them, and, through his hard work and the numbers he put up, he earned us a roster spot. So, I think it's always nice when you're around everyone, being a part of the same, the D League team as the Mavericks. Everyone that's in the offices have been seeing him and seeing what he can do. So moving up for him it's a good thing. So hopefully it continues and he can find a home there.
Talking with Brandon Davies, who is in Lithuania right now, balling out for his team Žalgiris. Now, not only are things going well for you individually, Brandon, but you've helped your team get into the EuroLeague Final Four. Paint the picture for us, if you will, of what that means to the community and to your team and the franchise to get into the EuroLeague Final Four.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable thing, just to get there, as like you said, an accomplishment for myself. But when you throw in the mix how important it is to, a country like this who hasn't seen, anything like this for about 20 years. So you definitely feel that the passion that they have for the game, and they love us here. They appreciate everything we do, and it's great to be a part of such a great fan base. And there's literally tears in their eyes when we made it to the Final Four. So like I said, it's a great experience to be a part of.
What's it like to live in Lithuania? Like, what's Lithuania like?
Honestly, the town I'm in, it's pretty similar to Provo. I feel like, there's they have like a river that flows through, kind of like Provo River. They have, all 4 seasons. There's not really any mountains or anything, but I think wise, and just the kind of small town feel you kind of get from Provo. It's the same feeling here, so it's been easy to adjust.
What kind of food are you eating regularly?
Well, this town has a lot of variety, so I mean we can find anything we want. There's a lot of really good restaurants as well. So they're really kind of Americanized here. They have a really big mall that has a lot of restaurants to choose from. Not as many like fast food chains or anything like that, but I mean as far as like good hearty meals, there's a lot of great restaurants for it. Yeah.
Brandon, it's one thing to handle a family and play in a professional league, let alone multiple professional leagues. So how do you balance all of that between the Lithuanian League, Euro League, and your family life so far away from where you grew up?
Yeah, I mean it gets hard at times. You just kind of get kind of homesick. But I had my mom and my sister flew out to see me. Lindsay's parents came out and visited us. So I mean, you just gotta find time and space people out enough to to come visit. So you get to see who people now and then. But at the same time, it's there's a lot. They want to come out and see games and stuff too. And every time they're here, whether they're here for a week, they get to see about 3 or 4 games. So I mean, it ends up being a good trip for them and for us as well.
You're in a unique position, having played 4 years at BYU, played in the NBA for about 2 years, and then now played overseas. So I'm interested to get your opinion on the following. So Eric Mika left after a year to go play in Italy. Now Elijah Bryant's leaving. He's hoping to get into the NBA. If not, the G League or overseas is certainly an option for him. Yoli Child's testing the waters. What's your advice for those guys in this process?
Well, I mean, starting with Eric, he was one of those guys who was kind of knocking on the door like I was, and I think he still has enough potential and upside that he can be in the league, and he's in a kind of a similar situation to where I was. He's playing in the Italian league that I played in my second year overseas, so and he's killing it over there, and there's a lot of eyes on him. So I think for him it's just a matter of showing that he can play at a high level, and I think he'll continue to move up. With Eli, I talked to him a little bit. He was, asking me just about, what he should do. And, my biggest advice to him is just to follow what he thought was best. You kind of got to follow your gut in this situation. Like, what you're capable of. What where your confidence is at. So a lot of times you just gotta, all you can do is jump and push yourself. I mean, there's knowing that he graduated and everything. I feel like that was a big thing for him to where he could make the decision to go pro. But I think he's going to be a great pro. I think if someone gives him a chance, he'll definitely turn some heads. And the same thing with Yoli. He has so much upside as well, and just being able to play against them and work with them over the summer when I'm home has been great too. Those guys are pros already. They're as far as their abilities and things like that. So I mean, all 3 of those guys that we're talking about, they're all work in progresses, and I am too. So, I mean, that's not a knock on any of them, but they're all extremely hard workers, and I wish nothing but the best for them.
Brandon, if you were at BYU now, do you think you would consider leaving early, even if it wasn't to the NBA, possibly overseas?
I'm not sure, but I mean, it depends on situations as well. When you have a family, that kind of changes things, and when you're single, that's different as well. I kind of had some thoughts too of leaving when I was after my junior season and stuff like that. But it's just kind of no one can really tell you, what's best in those situations. I mean, everyone thinks they know what's best, but I mean, if you don't feel confident in yourself and in your abilities, then what's the point of what everyone's telling you? So, I mean, that was all I could really say to him.
Brandon, knowing what you know about Lee Camard, what do you think about him being hired as the newest assistant basketball coach?
I think that's a great pickup. Me and Lee are really good friends. He always, when he was around, he was someone I always listened to when I was at BYU, and but at the same time connected with off the court. So when you can get a coach who can connect with players on and off the court, and enough players know him enough and seen him play enough and they respect him enough to listen, I think that's going to just only help the program and especially the players individually. There's times where I've done individual workouts with Lee as well, and have gotten better workouts with him than I did with guys who I paid for. So it's definitely a great pickup, and I'm really happy for him.
Brandon, great to talk with you all the way from Lithuania. Congratulations on winning Player of the Month. Good luck with that sushi bill, and even more luck in the EuroLeague Final Four, my friend.